Ready.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Keep It Spiritually Simple. I'm your host, Sandra McGellis, and we are so fortunate today to have Debra Moore back on. We're going to talk about a lot of things, including surrender and maybe how to feel it, tap into it. And then Deborah's going to do one of her famous, amazing healing meditations. So if you're starting this video and you really, really want to kind of get into it, maybe pause it, save it till a little bit later so that you can do it. And of course, repeat it because you're going to tap into the feelings even more. And you, the viewers, if you would please join us in supporting this channel, this show, me, all my guests, by hitting the like, subscribe, and share button. It would be really, really appreciated. So, hey, Debra Moore, girlfriend, what is happening in your world?
Miss Sandra. Well, it's a rainy day, and that's great. We don't get rain here very often, so the last 3 days and in through the night, it's been wonderful.
Oh,
It just clears the air and kind of crispy November day. And we're going to go into subjects that you might experience feeling some crispiness around it.
mm-hmm.
Surrendering into the weather. That's where in November and heading into the winter months, it's a time to go in. And my topic typically is around consciousness. It is the aspects that I have been studying and unwinding within myself and helping others to unwind within themselves. And it's that shift from being an egoic base human with a lot of mind chatter, with not knowing how to resolve emotions, with feeling the chaos in the world, and what's right and wrong. And I'm going to say to you, that's all three-dimensional constructs that we made up along the way. And I say we because anybody that is here, we've been a part of it. We created it. Now we're in the process with the work that I do is to uncreate it within ourselves. We don't have to do it for anybody else. Do it for yourself. My major topic that's come forward from spirit today is surrender. And I found, having been born and raised in the US, that when I went to India, I realized what surrender was because they do things very differently than us. And until you go and have that experience, you won't completely grok what I'm saying. But inside, if you recognize within yourself and you ask, am I surrendering to the situation? And you get honest, you're going to find that you're not, that you're in resistance, that you're justifying, that you don't want to feel what you really feel. So you've got your blinders on. And we all do that. And so the next thing we do is we judge ourselves for having it when we realize we have it. And that whole package is what I consider 3D reality. We have our right and wrong. Well, as we go further into this year, next year, and the next few years, we're not going to know what's right or wrong, which is exactly where we need to be. It's not about judging the external. It's about feeling the internal. It's about dropping into yourself and surrendering to what's going on externally and bringing yourself into a level of calm. That takes practice. The people that I work with, I tell them, you've got to do it when it's happening. When the person is triggering you, you got to drop in and feel that trigger. And it's not a body, it's not a mind label, it's a body label. It's not, I'm angry, it's I feel a pressure in my chest. I feel burning in my solar plexus. And it's dropping into that and being in presence. Surrender is all about being in presence. Most of the time, we tighten ourselves up. We're in our judgments. We're running down the road. It's wrong. It's wrong. It's wrong. Because we're in the future. That's 3D. Or we're in the past. They did this. They did that. I can't trust. Blah, blah, blah. Past or future thinking is 3D. You want to know when you're in 3D? You want to know when you're in egoic thinking? You're either in the past or the future. When you go into presence, they say God is found in presence. And it's that simple. When you take some deep breaths, we can do that right now. Just take it, inhale through your nose and out through your mouth. Now really fill your belly up. Pull that diaphragm down. See how it pulls you into your body? One more time. Now breathe into any anxiety in the body, any tension, any tightness. And slow that exhale. You just do that for 5 minutes. And you can't help but be in presence. So surrender. It's a process. It doesn't happen completely on the first time. It's I'm judging you, and I sit with myself and my breathing, and I choose to judge me in the process of that interaction. Well, it was also my fault. Well, what if I breathe into it and let go of the judgment and just realize it's a what is? And the most important thing I can do is bring my consciousness, which rides on the feelings of the breath. The deeper you go into your breathing, the more consciousness you bring into presence. When you're in presence, you're in consciousness. You need to own what you're doing in the situation, breathe into it, breathe into the consciousness, and then get radically honest. Am I judging them? Am I judging me? Where do I feel it in my body? And can I surrender to that feeling? Oh, no, I'm in total resistance to that feeling. I don't want to, I'm really angry. I don't want to feel that. Oh, but now is the time to do that. Feel the anger and drop into the body. And how does the body feel it? Is it in the solar plexus? Is it in that power chakra? Are you in the victim tyrant line? Are you feeling victimized by somebody? What if you drop into that solar plexus and you feel that knot and you just breathe into it and be in presence with it? That's transmuting that energy. You're surrendering to what the body feels. Why is that so important? Our bodies don't lie. That's right. We just cut ourselves off in our thinking and make up stories to try to feel better. But if you drop into the body and you feel that, you can transmute it. Where you don't hold it in the subconscious, where you don't shove it down to be a trigger for another day. You drop in and you be in presence with it. Surrender. What are we surrendering to? Well, we're interesting beings. We're human, right? God, man. We have our eternal beingness, which is our source energy that dropped down through the cosmos, creating a soul that has been doing these incarnations for a very long time. Not all on the earth, not all in this universe, not all in 3D. Many of us have been on the earth for a very long time, but the earth has not always been in 3D. It was, we call it Gaia. That was in the 7th dimension. We call it Tara. That was 5th dimensional Earth. And now we're in 3D and we call it Earth. And we say, oh, let's create Gaia. Well, Gaia is created within. Ascension occurs with the frequency we align with. For a very long time, let's go back. There was a time during the cosmic wars that Gaia had a destruction to their grid work, to its grid work. And it was also in a part of the Atlantean fall. And we say we fell. Well, what does that mean? We fell in consciousness. I was on Tara when that happened. I made a decision to drop down with the earth. She made a decision. My grid work needs to be fixed. If I stay in the 5th dimension, I have to get rid of all the sentient beings in order to heal. And she decided to drop into the 3rd dimension to have the grid work fixed here and keep the sentient beings. And we created more of a shadow and light because there were shadow entities that were falling in through other realms into through the broken grid work. So now humanity has shifted. You know, we're both shadow and light. But the more we turn around and look at our own inner shadow and understand what's there and take the power from it, that's bringing the subconscious to the conscious. That's a movement of enlightenment. That's the first step. As we make that movement, the grid work has been fixed, but it's been 10 to 12,000 years that humanity was suppressed in the 3rd dimension. I call it we had a glass ceiling. 4th, 5th, 6th dimension was not anchored on this planet. Humanity evolved or didn't evolve, held in the 3rd dimension and 3rd dimensional thinking. We are products of that. I was born into a time when humanity only knew 3rd dimension, and when 4th dimension anchored in for the first time in 1987 in thousands of years. What happened? Well, the easiest example I have for that is 50s, 60s, 70s that I knew. Medical industry would never say that emotions had anything to do with the physical body. They just treated the physical body and the physical symptoms. You get into 4D and you get into 1987 and mostly in the 90s, Reiki is a really good example of what came forward. Energy healing. Oh, you need to feel what you feel, right? Your energetics, your feelings were clogging up your energetic body. And you know what? That had an effect on how fast you healed physically. And doctors and nurses and hospitals became more aware of it, and they allowed more energy work to be done. Reiki is not unusual to be done in hospitals. That's just one example. There's many others, and you may be one of those practitioners. But that's 4th dimensional work. The fall. The fall, what we began, we didn't consciously knew, but we knew that we weren't getting as much prana in 3D as we did in Tara. We were crown breathers, and the the energy that we need to sustain ourselves felt like it wasn't enough, and it wasn't. So what did we as humanity begin to do 10, 12,000 years ago? We did drama. And in that drama, we stole energy from each other. We courted in through our operating system, the chakra system, and we took energy. You ever been around somebody that would on purpose push buttons while they are consciously trying to steal energy from you? Then there's the people that are unconsciously pushing buttons and they're stealing energy from you. And you know what? You can say, oh my God, they're doing that to me. Now you're a victim. And you have a tyrant out there or inside to your victim. And we're a little off in our solar plexus. We're in a time where it's now time to own our own power, to not by force, but by internally aligning with ourselves, recognizing when we're playing victim, being able to talk with somebody who's doing a game on us and not be angry about it. Just that's where they're at. It's okay. But we don't have to be bullied inside. They could be bullying us outside, but we hold our stance. And maybe in that, we're able to say things and call them out on things, and they may or may not get it. So that tyrant isn't affecting us. And if that tyrant, that bully, doesn't get fed by us, they go find somebody they get fed by. So when we're feeling insecure and somebody starts attacking, you take some breaths. You anchor into your solar plexus, you feel the solar plexus. And if there's a knot, if there's pressure, if there's tension, if there's a fire, you hold that space there. Doesn't matter what they're saying. You transmute your energy. And the more you do that, the stronger you become within your own self-empowerment, right? Your intuition comes online. You know when to leave a space, when to arrive, when to cross the street. You follow your intuition, and the more you follow it, the stronger it gets. And what is that? That's impulses within the physical body. Our bodies have been turned off because it doesn't have enough pranic energy to turn it on. And when you build pranic energy in your light body, what happens? Your clairs get turned on initially. Your clairaudient, your visual, your clairsentience, your knowingness, you just know. And then you get to play with that. Every one of us has that capability within their physical beingness. It's just been turned off because there's not enough juice. We've gotten so caught in the right wrong game, so caught in the stealing energy from people or playing victim. Big subjects, best thing to do is to become aware of where you fall into those dynamics. So what we're going to do today is many of you have probably heard of decording in the chakra system. And these cords are both ways. We send them out to somebody and feed off of that, and they send them into us and feed off of us. And we're going to ask that those that are appropriate to be severed at this point in time are brought forward and are severed. I work directly with source energy. I don't go to intermediaries. A lot of our intermediaries, a lot of our archangels and such have been hijacked. And rather than, questioning who they are and what they are and what their agenda is, and I go straight to source. I know source will work with me and with you. And as source beings, that's where we need to be going. We don't need intermediaries. We need our connection to our own divine source energies. And then you know what's good for you. And you trust that and you work with it. Make sense, Sandra?
It makes total sense. And I see the decording as like lizards' tongues. They kind of go out and, and then they're on
Mhm.
you all the time, invisible. And I mean, sometimes it's in your face with someone as a person, mentally, physically, and emotionally, but everyone's out there, they're sending it out. The lizard tongue is feeling what's in the air and then, just snatching it and then locking in on it, right? So now you have all these cords that are energetically, like there's always saliva left behind or something, it's all a metaphor, but you got this sticky glue all over you that becomes cords to things that you no longer want to be attached to. So I love that you're saying that. I also love the thing about the fear, because when my kids were little and they would get bullied, they say, Mom, and I go, hey, the only thing a bully can take is your fear. Are you going to feed them? Or are you going to, what are you going to do about that? Because that's all a bully wants is your fear. And so you can either spoon feed them, you can throw the whole thing at them, or you can just clamp it up, walk away and say, nope, not going to happen today. So I love when you're talking about that. It's so very important. And also, you just brought up something extremely important, because I know through my years of being on this journey how I have learned that specific angels or names or whatever could be bad, could be not good, good, bad. And I'm using that because I don't like that expression, but I'm using that for the viewers. Could be not in your highest intention or in your highest intention. So there's been so much confusion that I call on none of them at all. I go straight to source, and then I say, I am infinite source. That is me. And so I'm one connection, right? All the other things are just things. So thank you for pointing that out.
And it circles back to that surrender because people get confused when I work with people and they are defending their position with something. I say, "Oh, okay, that's ego. You're in your defense mechanism." And where I want people to recognize is that, and then the other side is our divine, our divinity, our source energy, our energetics. And when we drop down and stop defending our positionings on anything, we allow the other to show up. And this whole transformation that humanity is being able to drop and re educate ego and to live as an energetic being, which takes a whole new set of skills. But the first thing is you have to connect into your energetics. You have to drop the drama, drop the judgments, and come into resolving those issues more and more and more so that then you're in your energetics. And what do you do? You know? And there are a whole another skill set of what do you do? Um, and I love how you said fear, because fear is the basis of all negative emotions. And fear, we're in jealousy. We're fearing someone we're going to lose or something we're going to lose. Anger, again, it's fear of loss, right? So every time we go back and we track it down, it's all fear. So where are we at? We're between fear and love. So if I'm not in love, I'm in fear, right? I can be neutral, but that's a stance in my view is love. If I'm in neutrality, then I'm in some form of compassion for myself or others, right? So this is what we're working towards because when we do a lot of drama and families, we're going into the holidays, lots of drama. I was recently saying to a friend of mine, I lived 3,000 miles from my family, my birth family, and I get invited over to friend's house, but 20 people be sitting at the table and they all wanted to talk to me because they didn't want to talk to each other. I stopped going because it was like I really didn't want to be the center of attention and nobody else was talking to each other. It's like, okay, let's let them have to deal with each other. How about forgiving each other? Can we drop into our bodies and forgive that brother that annoyed us, that sister that didn't stand by us, that the parents, all of that, big topics. And I say to you, go and work with them by working within yourself. Go and hold your own space with them and love them. Don't fear them. Don't fear how they make you feel. If they're making you feel some way you don't want to feel, then you have some work to do. And it's not walking away from them. It's about learning how to embrace them in love and accepting them exactly who they are and where they're at. You can't change that. This is their journey. So it's such a huge process. And I love that we're talking about that today, that we're surrendering to the feelings that we have inside and what others provoke in us that we don't like. It's not them, it's us. If we're triggered, it's our trigger. It's not the other person. They just happen to be the one that loves you enough to point it out, even though they're being unconscious about it.
I love it because we're in this matrix of all these programs that have come before us that are still in play now, right? They're
Yeah.
disintegrating, yes, but through the process. And it's a control, right? So I want to trade in that control panel and I want to
Yeah.
create my own control panel. I want to become a master controlist of
Well,
myself.
it actually is a master surrender. You don't
Yes.
control. You're shifting from ego to divine. You're now in the flow of life. When you're in that flow, you get to see it coming at you before it even shows up. But if you're in love and in compassion, it doesn't matter what they do. It really doesn't. You stay within your own love and compassion, and that's the opposite of control for me. It's a letting go. It's not coming from the head, it's coming from the heart. And every interaction is an opportunity to open our heart further. Compassion starts with having compassion for ourselves. um we for every 100 judgments we put out there, no, let me shift that. For every judgment we put out there against somebody, we are judging ourselves 100 times inside. And it takes a while for us to see that. You know Walking down the street, and I used to use this example, particularly with women, you go to a shopping center and the mind goes wild. How can she wear that? Look at that stupid haircut. Look at those shoes. Oh my God, she really likes them. Da 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 da. And the mind takes off. Wow. If I'm judging all of them out there like that, what am I doing to myself inside?
Mhm.
And when we can stop and go inside ourselves and say, what is that in me? You know, can I have compassion for myself that, okay, I judge everybody in their fashions, or I judge their weight, or I judge their hairdo, or they're saying something today that I didn't like. Can I step back and have compassion for myself that I'm still heavily in judgment? I was listening to a Robert Grant interview the other day, and he said he believed going into the fifth dimension where there are no judgments. There's discernment, but there's not judgment. He said he believes that the last judgment is your last time you judge. It's not about God judging us. It's about letting go of that aspect within the rattling, thinking mind of all the judgments it goes through. And the only way to get rid of it, in my view, is first of all, you got to see you're doing it. And then you drop into your body and you feel the attachment, the magnetism, the emotions in the emotional body that's creating that judgment. And it could be a loop ancestral, or if your parents or your growing up with your siblings is normally where you're going to find that loop, or somebody in a relationship down the line as you get older triggers it, and then you loop through it. But it's held there because thoughts are electric. It's held there by the emotions, which are magnetic. And you can clear that when you clear the emotions out of the subconscious mind. Does that make sense?
Totally. And I'm hearing, we are letting go of the control device and we're creating a surrender panel.
Yeah.
And I
There you
love that.
go.
That's what it was downloading
There
while
you
you were
go.
saying that. I was like,
Mhm.
all right.
And
So don't even look
perfect.
at control. You're creating a surrender panel.
Right. And
Yeah.
what I have talked with people about a lot is that our egoic mind is like a DOS system, and we're going to upgrade it to Windows whatever. And it then stops being destructive by creating judgment and tension and fear and such. And it starts working for us. It says, it's time to drop into your body and feel your discomfort. It literally, my egoic structure has been upgraded and shifted. A lot of other things come with that. My insights, my connection to my divine is there with me. It doesn't ever leave, right? And my personality might be more when I'm not in a session, but when I'm in a session, I'm in connection with the higher self of the other person and I'm getting downloads. A lot of people will say, well, your voice doesn't change. And it's like, no, I'm not channeling. I'm connected. I'm connected in a way that my higher self is talking to your higher self, and I'm being given that information and how I can explain it to you so that you can embrace it and start retraining the ego to work for you rather than against you, to clear your energy, your emotional body, which I would call the pain body, and you transmute that energy, it becomes neutral, and it goes into the light body. That starts turning on the rest of the mechanics of your physical body and the gifts that are there. It's we're saying a lot. It's very expansive and it takes time, although we have a lot of energies coming in on the planet right now that are forcing people to make a decision. Which way do you want to go? Do you want to go the destructive route? Do you want to go in the higher frequency route? That's ascension, and the ascension happens inside. Ascension is an inside job. We're not all going to float up into the air. We're actually going to shift our frequency. So we might want to get into how long have we been into this
Well,
session?
we're ready to get
Yeah.
into the meditation. You're one of your specialties. I do know, like, we're in partnership with the masculine and the feminine. We're in partnership. Everything has masculine and feminine in it. We just need more. We've lived in more of the masculine dominance. And so that is what is crumbling and everything that represents it. And so, in order to do that, we need sort of this clean, fresh air sweep of the feminine energy. But in that partnership, when one needs to step away, another needs to step up. So we're seeing that part of the system crumble, yes, but we also need to see it more clearly by having more of the softer connection of the feminine energy sweeping in and coming through the planet, sort of like a self-cleaning oven to kind of get rid of all those nooks and crannies of, debris that is collected, through many cycles of cooking, so to speak.
Hmm.
And so we are here on that. And, I think every time people watch your show, like, they're going to associate all the things that you share to these powerful healing meditations that you bring forth. So I'm going to pause this and mute myself so you don't hear me doing my breathing to get into my body so that I can fully receive and cycle through and filter this beautiful meditation you're about to bring us through.
Hey, sounds good.
Thank you.
And so if everyone will relax, you can lie down, you can sit up. Uh, again, be in a restful place where you're not going to be disturbed. And take a deep breath in through the nose and out through the mouth. and slowing your intake, maybe to a count of 5, and your exhale to a count of 5. And there's a rhythm to it. And if you get to the inhale at the count of 5 and hold it for 2, and then the exhale to a count of 5, slowing it all down. Feeling into your body. Noticing if there's any tension and breathing into that tension. Just knowing and giving yourself permission to drop into your beingness, however that is for you. Staying with your breath, having the visuals or the intent, or knowing that we're going to go into the first chakra, the root chakra, at the base of the body. Just breathing in and breathing out of the root with your intent. Breathing in and breathing out. You can do this through the nose now, putting your attention on the root. We're going to ask Holy Mother, Father God, we call upon all cords throughout all dimensions, throughout all time and space, currently connected to my root chakra. And say that to yourself, to my root chakra. Holy Mother, Father God, we call upon all cords to be made present as we call in source energy to sever those cords, returning them to source to be dissolved, transmuted, and transformed. Returning our attention to the root where the severed cords that are still within us, the severed portion, we call upon the violet flame to pour into our root chakra, transmuting and transforming those severed cords back into the original divine blueprint, the mandala of our root chakra, returning our energies to us. We call back our energy and returning anybody else's energies we ever took that we're still holding. We're returning that energy to them. We cannot do anything with their energy. It's a game we play. So breathing into our root, feeling that violet flame, balancing with our mandala, asking the root chakra to spin in the appropriate direction at the appropriate speed for you. We move up into the sacrum, our creative center, just below the belly button, in the center of the body. We call upon divine love and light to bring forward all cords throughout all time and space, throughout all dimensions, known and unknown, to be made present as we call upon our source energy to sever these cords, returning the severed cord to source to be transmuted and transformed. And we ask that the violet flame pour into our sacrum, transmuting and transforming the severed cords back into the original divine blueprint of the mandala of our sacrum, returning the energies that do not belong to us to those that do, and calling back our energy back into our sacrum. Allowing that violet flame to brighten up, light up our mandala. balanced, spinning in the appropriate direction at the appropriate speed. As we move up into the power chakra, Almighty, we call upon you through divine love and light to make present all chords throughout all time and space, throughout all dimensions, known and unknown. To have Source sever these chords from us, returning the chords to Source to be transmuted and transformed. As we ask the violet flame to pour into our solar plexus, into our power chakra, transmuting and transforming the chords severed back into the original divine blueprint of our mandala. Allowing the violet flame to take us deep into our mandala. And here we're going to ask that our victim tyrant line begins to straighten out within this complex towards self-empowerment. That we begin to become aware when we play victim, when we begin to become aware of playing tyrant. And we're asking that line to come in and show us how to balance in our own empowerment, calling in the white light of awareness. As we move up into the heart, in the center of the heart chakra, Almighty, we command that all chords throughout all time and space, throughout all dimensions, known and unknown, are hereby made present as Source is called upon to sever these chords, returning the chords to Source to be transmuted and transformed, neutralized. As we return to the heart, we ask that the violet flame transmute and transform our side of the chording back into the original divine blueprint of our heart, into the mandala of our heart, of the portal of our heart, of the heart that sustains our spirit and source energies. Breathing in and breathing out, allowing that violet flame to transform us. Allowing our heart chakra to spin at the appropriate speed, appropriate direction, balancing, aligning. We move up to the throat chakra. We ask through divine love and light that all chords throughout all time and space, throughout all dimensions known and unknown, are hereby made present at the throat. As we ask Source to sever these chords and return the severed chords to Source, dissolving, transmuting, transforming, as we drop back into our throat chakra, inviting in the violet flame to transmute and transform that part that is within us and transmuting it back into our divine blueprint, our mandala of our throat, incorporating the violet flame through the trance channels, balancing, clearing, transmuting, and transforming into the original divine blueprint and mandala of our throat chakra, inviting the throat chakra to spin at the appropriate direction and speed for us, for you. Taking another breath, slipping up the channel to our third eye, the center of our brain, really. That whole sector between the eyebrows going back. Almighty, we command that all chords throughout all time and space, throughout all dimensions known and unknown, are hereby made present as source energy drops and severs these chords, returning the chords to source, transmuting and transforming as we drop into our third eye, and we ask that the violet flame pours through the third eye, transmuting and transforming any severed cords left back into the original divine blueprint, into the mandala of our third eye. Asking the third eye chakra to spin at the appropriate direction, at the appropriate speed. As we slip up into the crown, we ask our crown to open to what is appropriate for this session for you. We ask that the divine love and light, the Almighty, throughout all time and space, throughout all dimensions known and unknown, make present any cording into the crown. Many of you will not have cording and others will. We ask that source comes in and severs this cord, returning the cord to source to be transmuted and transformed, and asking the violet flame to pour into your crown any severed cords in the crown are hereby transmuted and transformed back into the original divine blueprint in the mandala, and having the violet flame open that 1,000-petal lotus that we call the crown. The violet flame pours through each one of those petals, relaxing, clearing, balancing, reforming where necessary. Allow the crown to open, relaxed, safe. Taking a deep breath. Now sliding up to above your head, just above your head, is the 8th chakra. This chakra is where the soul and the higher selves will drop messages. So slide up into the 8th chakra and ask that any healing light that your higher self, your soul, has dropped into the 8th is now dropped down into your body and into your heart, because your heart knows what to do with it while you stay in the 8th chakra. It's a white gold. So taking a breath in through the 8th chakra, expanding it with the white gold, being aware. This is your soul star. And from this point, we're going to ask that Father Creator, dropping the energies from above the 12th dimension, drops down through the 11th, the 10, the 9, into the 8th chakra. feeling that light, that comfort, that support from the Father, dropping down into the crown, into the third eye, the throat, and into the heart. And allow that energy to combine with you, your soul, in your heart. And now place your attention down at your root chakra. There's a cord that drops deep into Mother Earth. Asking the Earth's energy to travel up through that cord and fill the root chakra. She's your mother. She knows your name. There's no one walking on this planet she has not agreed for them to walk on this planet. You are here in agreement with the Mother Earth. And allow her earth grounding, loving mother energy to move up from the root to the sacrum, to the solar plexus, and to the heart. Mother, father, child, you are their child. Allow that union to occur within your heart. Allow the healing that has taken place in this process to move throughout every cell of your body, to align you to where you're to be in this moment with your divine. Many blessings. Now come back to your breath, to your body, and when you're ready, you can open your eyes. Okay?
Very, very powerful.
Yeah, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, I needed that. The viewers are going to really need this. It's
Yay.
awesome. So
Awesome.
we'll just let everybody sort of marinate in that. And if you have an
Sounds good.
opportunity to go back and really listen to this and share it with others so we can all be in this peaceful, in our body place of more balance, I guess, as we counterbalance what's happening in the world. So, Deborah, as always, always, my friend, thank you so much for coming on. Keep it spiritually simple. And I will take a few minutes after this to collect myself before I operate heavy machinery,
Yes, for sure.
like getting in my car, do some more
Yes.
work, just the chaos of the world. I want to take this peaceful feeling with me and glide through the obstacles that are around me, such as other cars, people, places, things,
Right.
conversations, etc. So thank
Centering and
you.
empowering. You're welcome so much, Sandra. Thank you for having me. I very much
Absolutely.
appreciate it.
Yes. And I will have your links in the description below where people can find you for a session. And in the meantime,
Thank
like,
you.
subscribe, and share. And let's say goodbye, Deborah.
Bye, Sandra. Bye, everyone.